Omagyanatimirandasya Gyanagana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Gena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulangaite Girim Yat Kripatanam Bande Shri Gurum Dinatarine. So, just thoughts on the Gita. Chapter 14 is the chapter that covers the three modes of material nature. So I'm looking at text number 6. Tatra sattvam nirmaladvat prashkashakam anamayam sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanaga. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The living entities, conditioned by material nature, are of various types. One is happy, another is very active, and another is helpless. All these types of psychological manifestations are causes of the entity's conditioned status in nature. How they are differently conditioned is explained in this section of Bhagavad Gita. The mode of goodness is first considered. The effect of developing a mode of goodness in the material world is that one becomes wiser than those otherwise conditioned. A man in the mode of goodness is not so much affected by material miseries, and he has a sense of advancement in material knowledge. The representative type is the Brahmin, who is supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness. The sense of happiness is due to understanding that in the mode of goodness, one is more or less free from sinful reactions. Actually, in the Vedic literature, it is said that the mode of goodness means greater knowledge and greater sense of happiness. The difficulty here is that when a living entity is situated in the mode of goodness, he becomes conditioned to feel that he is advanced in knowledge and is better than others. In this way, he becomes conditioned. The best examples are the scientists and the philosophers. Each is very proud of his knowledge, and because they generally improve their living conditions, they feel a sort of material happiness. The sense of advanced happiness in conditioned life makes them bound by the mode of goodness of material nature. As such, they are attracted towards working in the mode of goodness, and as long as they have an attraction for working in that way, they have to take some type of body in the mode of nature. Thus, there is no likelihood of liberation or being transferred to the spiritual world. Repeatedly, one may become a philosopher, a scientist, or a poet, and repeatedly become entangled in the same disadvantages of birth and death. But due to the illusion of the material energy, one thinks that that sort of life is pleasant. So here we are discussing the mode of goodness, which intellectual people, they very usually develop the mode of goodness. So they have a sense of morality, they have a sense of goodness, sense of giving, sense of contributing to society. They live more on the intellectual plateau than on the sensual plateau. So in many cases, their foodstuff, for example, is more in the mode of goodness. Vegetables, as Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita, foodstuffs that are fatty, sweet, fruits, vegetables, that's all in the mode of goodness, and so on. However, one may be in the mode of goodness, but he may not be a devotee of the Lord. Tat karma nipano vipro mantra tantra vicharada avaishnavo nasat guru vaishnavanam swapacho guru. In this verse, it's describing that one may know all the mantras and all the tantras, one may be following the Brahminical ritualistic programs and so on, and actually living on the platform of the mode of goodness. But if one is not a devotee of Lord Krishna, then he's not really a guided or a guru in society. Whereas someone may be born in a low family, swapacha means in the family of dog eaters, but he may develop Krishna consciousness. Kiratu Hunanja Pulinda Puka Shambira Shamba Yavana Kashadaya Yenecha Papa Tadapashra Ashaya Sudyanti Tasmai Prabhavishnave Namaha. This means that if one is born in a more barbaric civilization, a more barbaric situation, Kiratas or people of African origin, Hunas, the Huns, persons in Mongolia and so on. So these are considered tribals or primitive type of people that live in the forest and so on. But it's saying here that if they get the mercy of a great acharya, great devotee of the Lord, they're very sinful. They can get purified by one who is a great devotee of the Lord, like the great devotees, Narottam Das Thakur, Bhakti Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, of course, who went all over the world, converting those who were flesh eaters, malechas, yavanas, to the standard of Brahminical life or simple life. So here, it's being discouraged in Srila Prabhupada's purport. He's discouraging, the big pursuit of material knowledge. I'm a big scientist, I'm a big philosopher, Bertrand Russell, why I'm not a Christian. So they hover on the mental platform, although it may be in a mode of goodness, they're still hovering on this mental platform. So they may have so-called meritorious qualities, but if they're not devotees of Krishna, then basically it's just completely useless waste of time. Dharma swanustita pumsham vishvaksena katasya no pradiyadidiratim shrama evihi kevalam. It's a waste of time. So that's going on in society today. Many of the scholars and philosophers and scientists, they behave like gentlemen, but basically with no such Krishna consciousness, no devotion to Lord Krishna, then they're hovering on the middle platforms described. So better to be a devotee, even if one is from a low-born family, one can be raised up by the mercy of the Lord's devotees. Like Narada Muni, we know that he met Mrigari the hunter and converted him to a very great devotee of the Lord. Mrigari was killing animals left and right, leaving them to suffer. But Narada Muni came and preached to him, and he became a very, very advanced devotee, a lover of Krishna. And if he ever saw ants crossing his pathway, he would give them cover, like some cover protection. He wouldn't even kill an ant. He wouldn't step on an ant like that. So Narada Muni has actually preached to many low-born persons, killers, and converted them into devotional service. I believe Valmiki was another one. He was a murderer, and he couldn't even say Rama. So his guru told him, you simply chant Mara, 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 which means death. And he chanted like this, and then he became such a glorious and enlightened devotee that ultimately he spoke the Ramayana, the great glories and activities of the Supreme Lord in his incarnation as Lord Ram. Ramadi Mutishu Kalan Yaminashtishtan Nanavatarama Karo Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Parama Pumanyo Govinda Mari Purusham Tamam Vajami. That the Lord has appeared in various incarnations to deliver the souls here in the material world, and to establish religious principles. And there are millions and just trillions of incarnations over the period of one lifetime of Brahma, which is one breath of Lord Vishnu, Karunadaksha Vishnu. However, from the solar point of view, in solar years, Lord Brahma's lifespan is very, very long. It's 311 trillion years. So the Lord appears in every millennia, every yuga. So many times he comes out of his causeless mercy. And we know that he, Paritranaya Sadhanam Vinashaya Chaduskritam, he protects his devotees and enlivens his devotees and has leelas with his devotees when he appears. And he also vanquishes the demoniac class of man. Although we know that when Krishna kills someone, like Shishupal, we saw that the soul of Shishupal entered right into Krishna's body. We know that anyone who is killed by the Lord, he attains the 5 types of liberation. Shalokya, Mukti, Aishvarya, same opulence as the Lord. Sarupya, same beautyless form as the Lord. The same one, he lived on the same planet as the Lord. Like this. So the 5 types of liberation are given even to the demoniac person, like Shishupal, Bhaumasura, Mura demon, whoever Krishna killed. In fact, Putana was gifted with becoming a maidservant in the house of Mother Yashoda in Goloka Vrindavan, the spiritual world. So ultimately, Krishna is saying, it's indicated here by Lord Krishna and by Srila Prabhupada, that we have to go to Vishuddha Sattva, the pure mode of goodness in devotional service. Mam Chayo Vyabhicharana Bhakti Yogana Sevate Sagunan Samatityaitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. That we have, once we engage in devotional service, Bhakti Yoga and Sevate, then Sagunan Samatyagan, all the modes of material nature is removed from our hearts. We are influenced only by Krishna, and Lord Krishna is transcendental, so we become transcendental. If you put a hot rod of steel in the fire, ultimately the rod of steel becomes fire. So when we engage ourselves and submerge ourselves in Krishna consciousness, then of course we become Krishnaized or Krishnaites. So devotees of Krishna, the Hare Krishna movement devotees, are Krishnaites. So that's basically the gist of this particular Bhagavad Gita text number 6, 14th chapter, 3 modes of material nature. The warning here is don't get too comfortable in the mode of goodness, because at the time of death, one may go up to Swargaloka or Jnanaloka or Tapaloka or Maharloka or Satyaloka. Those are the highest planets at the top of the universe, where Lord Brahma lives and the great Devas live and so on. But then Shine Punya Marchalokam Vishanti, after using up all of your pious credits in the mode of goodness, you may have pious credits. Then it says in the next verse, Shine Punya Marchalokam Vishanti, that you may fall down again into this lower planetary system, into the Burloka, where the sun's rays extend. Our planet is on Jambudvip. It's not very far from the hellish planets, relatively speaking. Because, Lord Brahmaloka is perhaps over 1 billion miles away from the Earth planet. So we want to take advantage of the Yuga Dharma. Kali Kalera Namarupa Krishna Avatar. Lord Krishna has come in a form of his holy name. Namahoy Te Hoy Sarvadak Jagat Nishtar. And he's giving us the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord in the age of Kali. So there we have it. We shall revisit this chapter again. And let's at least cultivate the mode of goodness in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.